All right. Back in June of 2021, the NCAA approved a name, image, and likeness, or what's known as the NIL policy. So this allows NCAA D1, D2, and D3 athletes to be compensated for their NIL. And under Michigan's NIL law, collegiate student athletes can actually hire agents, sign endorsement deals, and make personal appearances and much more. So we've got to break this down this morning. We're joined in studio by CEO of the Lee Group. This is Mark S. Lee, and you might know this guy. He's on Zoom with us. This is former U of M running back, NFL player Jamie Morris. Jamie, thanks for joining us today. And Mark, thank you so much too. Guys,
always good to be back.
We got to start with this. I mean, both you guys are college athletes. Can you even imagine where this would have been, you know, in the 80s when you guys were in college, getting into the professional days? Mark, we'll start here with you. It's crazy.
Absolutely not. I was, obviously, Jamie was a running back for the University of Michigan. I ran track for Eastern Michigan University. But if you go back in those days, there's absolutely no way could we have thought of the money that's being thrown around in college athletics these days, not just with men, but also women's sports. And so here we were to fast forward, you know, back 30, 35 years ago. Absolutely not. Could not have foreseen this coming.
Yeah. And Jamie, with you, very prominent at U of M, putting up great numbers, but you didn't really make good money until you get drafted into the NFL. Could you have imagined getting, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars as an 18-year-old in college?
It was talked about in the locker rooms. Can you imagine? We were saying to one another, can you imagine what we would get and different things like that? But no, never thought about this. But now that it's here, it's about time.
So, Jamie, I think it was Kayvon Thibodeau was one of the first players to get his NIL deal. You know, University of Oregon, we're about 2+ years in this process. These are, you know, college, they're getting billions of dollars. You look at, like, I don't know, Bronny James, Livy Dunn. Those are two individuals that are good at their sport, have millions of followers on social media. Is that something that you think could have been done back in the day, or is this way different than it is back then?
I think you're mentioning the top names of their sports and different things like that. Bronny James he follows his dad and everybody's looking at him. But really, NIL is just getting money to student athletes. It's not a whole bunch of money that they're trying to get. They're just getting money to get around. I mean, really, it's about you're at the height of your game right now. Most athletes, and remember, it's for all athletes. It's not just for basketball and football players. It's for all athletes. And at Michigan, we have 29 sports, and all athletes should be involved in this. And they're not all athletes are going to get millions of dollars. I get it. The quarterback of the Michigan Wolverines is going to get a significant amount of money because he's the quarterback at Michigan and everybody loves Michigan football. But that doesn't mean that we don't have other great athletes that should be getting money and for their name, image, and likeness.
That's a good point. And Mark, in here, I mean, do you have the same thoughts as Jamie, or are you on another train of thought here?
You know, I agree with Jamie. I think that let's look at, you know, the amount of money that's out there in college sports right now. I was reading over the weekend with the TV deals, for example, with the Power Five. It's a $3 to $4 billion TV package that's being thrown on the table. And so I think, you know, Jamie's spot on. I think these athletes should have the opportunity of certainly getting some type of compensation, for lack of a better phrase, because these universities are making a ton of money off of their names, images, and likeness.
So you've always been on that train? Because this probably, has this always been a big conversation, or did it just get big probably early 2000s, mid-2000s, you think?
No, I think it's just really increased over the last couple of years. There's never really been a big conversation. You heard Jamie say they talked about it in the locker room going back in the day when he played ball. But obviously over the last several years, now with the streaming services, with the TV contracts, the Power Five, I mean, I watched the games this weekend, I'm not going to lie, and I'm sure a lot of other people watched the game. So the monies are being tossed around. It's really increased over the last couple of years.
Would you see that, you know, 18, 19, well, I guess it depends. You know, you probably have to be, I think it's after your junior season you can declare for the NFL, right?
Yes.
And then another year for if you're a college basketball player. It just depends on your sport. Can you imagine that amount of money as a kid? I mean, are millions of dollars too high for someone at that age, or is it just if someone's willing to pay them that money, then so be it?
Well, I think that it's a great opportunity for these young people to learn the value of investing their dollars.
Sure.
I do know of a major institution right up the road at Ypsilanti, Michigan, where they are actually trying to train their employees in this NIL space. And they're letting them know you may get these resources, but also understands you got to figure out how to, in theory, we like to teach how to invest those resources as well.
And that's a good point. And for Jamie, for you, let's bring up, say, University of Michigan, right? One of the biggest football programs in the whole country. Is that now a recruiting tactic to get people to come play under Coach Harbaugh?
Well, it's not a recruiting tactic, but you've got to be ready. I mean, like you've got to have an NIL collective available when these young players come on campus, because it's wildly known, and it's something that's in the jar now of what we talk about. Kids are going to come to the university and ask you, how's your NIL collective? You know, and now it's part of the whole recruiting process, as you said.
I think most people, and I mean, I'll speak for myself here, the NCAA is huge, and people had always seen it as, oh, they're in charge of everything. Well, NIL is a little bit different. That money's not coming from the NCAA. You know, it's outside businesses, money going to the players. But we also know the university is benefiting as well. Do you see this as a symbiotic relationship between university and player?
Absolutely. I think that, you know, let's use football as an example. Having a successful college program, quite frankly, still opens the doors for enrollment purposes. And people still will go to university because of certainly the education, certainly hopefully that's first and foremost, but they have a winning program, no question. And we can tell you that Central Michigan a few years ago, when they had a winning season, their enrollment actually went up. Western Michigan, something similar a few years ago. However, I think there's a symbiotic relationship between the athletes and universities as well.
We've seen that a lot. So I'm from Indianapolis. Butler University, always use as an example. We know about their Final Four runs. I mean, their enrollment doubled with that. And obviously now NIL is involved too. Jamie, for you, when you look at all of this, would this have impacted where you would have gone to college, or would you have still chosen U of M?
I still would have chosen U of M, but yeah, I'm not gonna. If I was a young person coming out of school, I would like to know what their NIL and what the process is and different things like that. But I still would have chose the University of Michigan because I love the helmets.
Well, now they're a Jordan brand. What was their brand back in the day?
Hey, we started the Nike in 1984. When I got there, we signed with the Nike. All the stuff these kids wear now, we were the test dummies for everything. I mean, we ripped shoes, jerseys ripped and everything. But now you see they wear them nice, and it's nice, and it looks nice on them now.
And they've got multiple jerseys. They've got their they got the helmets polished. You know, that's not the same as it was back in the 80s.
I watched Jamie play. We laugh about it to this day. They had the old helmets were scraped up, the jerseys were ripped. But I don't think you had that many jerseys to change into back in the day, did you, Jamie?
No, we didn't. Our manager had to make things work, and he did. We had a very dollars and cents athletic director in Don Canham, and he made things work. And you know, that's why the University of Michigan is what it is now. I mean, look, it's done a great job with the student athletes. And again, I want to add what Mark says. Look, things change when they start giving millions of dollars to conferences and giving millions of dollars to coaches. I mean, yes, the scholarship is great and everything, but after a while, if you're making what the NFL's making, you're paying to watch these kids. You're not paying to watch the coaches coach. You're paying to watch these kids play, really. So there's some compensation that these kids, and I'm saying maybe you give them a stipend. That's the call. You give them a stipend or something like that. Make them part of the process because you're selling them to the people the consumer themselves.
And obviously, I mean, the better the athlete you are and the more, name, image, likeness you have too, the more money you'll get paid. Jamie, before we let you go, unrelated question, Michigan's football record this year. I mean, they're obviously people have them making the college football playoff. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, they have the right framework. They're good. Remember this: they have a huge run late in the season. I think it's in October. They got Penn State, Maryland, and then they have Ohio State. So that's going to be a crucial run right there. And if we do what we're supposed to do, winning the 1,000th game, the first time a program's ever gone over 1,000 games, winning. That would be the Maryland
game. We got you, Jamie. Jamie, thank you very much. Again, Jamie with us through Zoom. Marcus Lee here in studio. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.